and gentlemen, can all of us be seated? Parents and graduates. Parents and graduates can all be seated. I don't expect that from you graduates. When I make an announcement, I'll be having information. So it's not that we are just doing things for the sake of doing things. So graduates and parents, get seated now. Right, can we all stand up, parents and graduates? Let's stand up now because the station is there. Right, for the ministry. Thank you so much. Parents, let's also stand up to welcome our minister. The procession is almost here. Thank you so much.
Agora eu tava mas
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, will remain standing as we sing national anthem. Thank you. We can take our seats. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All protocol observed. Allow them to take their seats so that we can pray together. Thank you so very much for the privilege of allowing me to be part of this wonderful graduation ceremony this morning. My assignment is to give devotions this morning as we assemble together. Most of our graduates are young people, and I have a great love and honor and passion for young people. They are a wonderful and great generation. So I have a great challenge and admonition to give to you as I pray for you this morning. I give you a great admonition and challenge from a story, biblical story of a young man called Joseph. Joseph had an excellent spirit, but he also had a spirit of the fear of the Lord in him. Watch him as he was released by his brothers when they sold him into the world of work. Watch him when he gets into Potiphar's house and begins to work. How that the Lord blessed that house. So it was from the time that he was made overseer of his house and all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in his house and in the field, because he had an excellent spirit, and because he had the spirit of the fear of the Lord in him. Watch him as he is thrown into prison for a crime which he did not commit. When he got to prison, he was promoted among the prisoners. Then Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were confined. And he was there in prison, but the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy, and he gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners who were in the prison. Whatever they did, there it was his doing, because he had an excellent spirit and the spirit of the fear of the Lord upon him. Finally, watch him when he ascends to authority and power, when he became second in command in the land of Egypt. Watch how he led a nation through a period of hunger, strife, difficulties, but how that the Lord was with him all the way, because he had an excellent spirit, and the spirit of the fear of the Lord was upon him. So the advice was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find such a one as in this man, in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Inasmuch as God has shown you this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house and over all my people, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you." And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "See, I have set you over all the land of Egypt," because an excellent spirit was found in this young man, and the spirit of the fear of the Lord. As I pray right now, I want to commit all our graduates to the Lord God Almighty, that the spirit of excellence and the spirit of the fear of the Lord may be upon you as you go out into the world of work. Exhibit a spirit of excellence. Build up this nation. Build up the nations wherever God will deposit you to. Let's bow our heads and pray. Father, we commit this wonderful morning, these men and women, after many years of hard work, after many years of sweat, commitment, resilience. My Father and my God, I ask you this morning that you remember our children, our young people, even the old ones, that have an opportunity this morning to graduate and be sent out into a world of work, that you may give unto them the spirit of the fear of the Lord and an excellent spirit, that they may together, as we saw in the life of this young man Joseph, build up this nation through a commitment and through hard work and through a spirit of excellence and through a spirit of the fear of the Lord, that our nation may be built up again to the glory and honor of your name. Bless them with the blessing of Abraham. In Christ Jesus our Lord we have prayed, and we believe it is as we have asked. In Jesus' name, and all God's people say, Amen. Amen. The Lord bless you.
Director of Ceremonies, Acting Vice Principal, Mr. Iris Ken. Guest of Honor, Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, Honorable Professor Dr. A. Movira. The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, Honorable J. Move. The Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, Professor F. Tagwira. Tertiary Education Service Council Councillors, Mr. Z.M. Nyati and Dr. Eve Umbo. Director Tertiary Education Programs, Mr. D.C. Damba. Director Quality Assurance and Standard, Mr. W. Sonono. Chief Directors, Deputy Directors, and Ministry officials here present. Vice Chancellors of universities or their representatives here present. Our traditional leaders, His Worship, the Mayor of City of Bulawayo, members of Parliament here present, service chiefs here present, principals from sister colleges here present, staff and students of Bulawayo Polytechnic, distinguished invited guests, parents, guardians, and spouses of graduates. Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, good morning to you all. Guests of honor say, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to speak to you on this very important day on Bulawayo Polytechnic calendar. This is our 93rd graduation ceremony. Allow me to welcome everyone who has graced this occasion. We feel honored. Siyalamukela lonke. To our graduates, I'm so happy. Congratulations. First, allow me to recognize the exceptional work done by all the members of staff at Bulawayo Polytechnic, whose dedication and commitment is essential in providing such high-quality programs each year. I'm happy today because as I look around, each and every one of you looks happy, actually extremely happy. Where are you 2019 graduates? 2020? 2021? I'm sure you are happy. I'm also happy today because it is the happiest. Thank you so much, 2020. Another hand. 2022. I knew you were going to make the largest noise. Thank you so much. I know that you are all COVID survivors and veterans of Zoom. So much has gone on online, so little in person. So sad, wasn't it? And yet, still you went through. You learned new methods of learning. You are now champions of virtual platforms. We, the Bulawayo Polytechnic community, have invited you, guest of honor, Professor Dr. A. Murwera, as well as the distinguished guests gathered here to present to you the 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022 graduates who are going to be certificated at this august occasion. The graduation of these graduates is public testimony of the unwavering performance and commitment of Bulawayo Polytechnic to the successful implementation and attainment of the institution's mandate in the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development. We, the Bulawayo Polytechnic community, are proud to release these graduates into the world of commerce and industry in line with our mandate of promoting excellent human capital through Education 5.0 for sustainable socio-economic stabilization, recovery, and development. Let me hasten to say the training of these graduates was not easy. These are the graduates who were shunned during the tough period of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our motto of being anchored in the real world of production was under attack, as we found ourselves trying new methods of imparting training and skills to the graduates. Through efforts and guidance from our ministry and sister institutions, we managed to use different platforms to keep the training in motion. While we are celebrating that we managed to churn these graduates, let me hasten to say we also lost some of our foot and air force personnel. We lost 2 staff members, our former principal engineer Gilbert Mzenzi Mabasa and Mr. Lamek Njovu, support staff member. We also lost our chairman, Mr. J. Ngomo. He was the chairman for the advisory council and a number of students due to COVID-19. I will request that we all stand as we observe a moment of silence. May their dear souls rest in eternal peace. Thank you. You may be seated. Guests of honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is significant at this juncture that I should give you Bulawayo Polytechnic's historical background. Bulawayo Polytechnic was established in 1924 as a technical school and later as a technical college in 1953. And subsequently changed its status to a polytechnic in 1998. Bulawayo Polytechnic is thus established brand whose products occupy critical positions in commerce and industry, locally and internationally. We are a brand that has been tried and tested. We have stood tall through thick and thin. The theme of this graduation and prize-giving ceremony is promoting excellent human capital development through Education 5.0 for sustainable socio-economic stabilization, recovery, and development. Guests of honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bulawayo Polytechnic is the hub of technical and vocational education and training for the socio-economic empowerment of Zimbabwe citizens in the African continent as a whole. I quote Steve Coney, an empowered nation is one in which citizens have the knowledge, skill, desire, and opportunity to personally succeed in a way that leads to collective national success. Close quote. The current student population is 3,923 as compared to the 2021 figure of 3,411. This represents a 13% increase in student enrollment. In 2021, the student gender distribution was 2,084 for males, which is 61%, and 1,331 for females, which is 39%. This year's gender distribution is 2,522 males, or 64%, and 1,390 females, which represents 36%. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the continued upward trend in the female student enrollment is commendable. It has been noted that the female students continue to show interest in the engineering field. The Polytechnic continues to strive for equality of education opportunities. Nelson Mandela had this to say on equality of opportunities. Open quote, if we are going to see the real development in the world, then our best investment is in women. Guest of honor said the Bulawayo Polytechnic authorized staff establishment is 370. There are currently 331 members in post and 31 vacancies. This represents a 31% staff deficit. We want to thank the ministry for continuously supporting Bulawayo Polytechnic. Guest of honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in spite of the limited financial resources and the setback caused by the lockdown, I'm glad to let you know that Bulawayo Polytechnic has managed to arrange and hold first in historical international research and conference in November 2021. That was held in Victoria Falls under the theme Endless TVET Solutions through Heritage-Based Research towards Vision 2030. This conference was graced by international presenters like Professor Taylor from University of British Columbia, Canada, Professor F. Chitemi from Stanford University of California, Professor Emiras from University of British Columbia, Canada again, and Mr. Lungeli Sikani from University of Stellenbosch. Bulawayo Polytechnic has also published online TVET journal through the Research and Innovation Association of Bulawayo Polytechnic Rehab. This covers technical, vocational education and training areas in research and academic sponsorship. Its focus is on ensuring that research activities by professional and academic staff at the Bulawayo Polytechnic and the sister polytechnics and institutions, research and development institutions can publish and make visible worldwide their works. Team Bulawayo Polytechnic came out second in TESA's games at JMN Polytechnic. Guest of honor said, I'm pleased to let you know that some of Bulawayo Polytechnic students have been chosen to represent Zimbabwe in Malawi for the Conference of Universities and Colleges Sports Association, CUCSA. We wish Team Zimbabwe well. Guest of honor said, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here to celebrate the success of 3,826 Higher Education and Examination Council graduates who completed their studies in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. This is the first time to hold the graduation and prize-giving ceremony since 2019. This is a clear indication that Bulawayo Polytechnic has managed to sail through the hard times when everything was on lockdown. Now they are all qualified. We need solutions which are creative, innovative, which will serve future generations. Please be Bulawayo Polytechnic ambassadors for the great work we do as you join the 1,000+ alumni from this great institution. Better still, tell your family, tell your friends, and your colleagues. In closing, and most importantly, please reflect on your achievements. Celebrate with your families and friends who have supported you. Thank you for the valued support and sacrifices which were an integral part of your studies, and make them even more proud of you as you develop your careers and help to make a better built environment. Therefore, I say to you today, go, grow, and glow professionally. Most of all, be good ambassadors of Bulawayo Polytech and Zimbabwe, wherever you go. So go forth, graduates of 2019 to 2022, and make your unique contribution. May I say, Amsope Makorokoto, congratulations. Nyabonga Talenta. Thank you.
Shimejwe watu nono ka shimejwe, shimejwe watu Our Director of Ceremonies, Acting Vice Principal Mr. E. Rusike, the Guest of Honor, Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, Honorable Professor Dr. Amon Muwira, the Acting Principal, Mrs. Masanganise, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, Honorable J. Nguve, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Matabele North Province, Honorable Richard Moyo. I have not seen Honorable here, he may be around. The Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, Mr. Paul Nyoni. Tertiary Education Service Council Councillors, Mr. Zete Mnyati and Dr. Bumbo. Director of Tertiary Education Programs, Mr. D. Damba. Director Quality Assurance and Standards, Mr. W. Sonono. Chief Directors, Deputy Directors, and other ministry officials, Vice Chancellors and their representatives who are here present, our revered traditional leaders, His Worship the Mayor of the City of Bulawayo, Members of Parliament here present, Service Chiefs, Principals from sister colleges who are here present, staff and students of Bulawayo Polytechnic, distinguished invited guests, our parents, spouses, and most importantly, our graduates this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, allow me to say congratulations to those graduates who are waiting to be kept this morning. Makuru Koto, Amushope, we are proud of you. This morning, my task is very simple. It is to introduce our guest of honor, who is none other than our own Honorable Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, Professor Dr. Amon Muwira, who is a full professor in aerospace Earth observation, satellite remote sensing, geographic information, science and global satellite navigation systems, and unmanned aerial vehicles, which include drone technologies and geospatial intelligence, with more than 30 years of experience. Our honorable guest of honor this morning is a holder of an earned PhD in geoinformation science and satellite Earth observation from Wageningen University and the International Institute of Geoinformation Science and Earth Observation in the Netherlands. Our guest of honor indeed was one of the top performing students of his time, with a PhD thesis that scored among the top 10% in Europe in the year of his graduation. Indeed, that is good and well worth recognizing performance. We are truly grateful to have our honorable minister, who is a distinguished academic. Our guest of honor is not only a minister, He is truly a distinguished academic, a full professor with many publications, a distinguished academic administrator, and a scientist in his own right. On top of all that, our guest of honor has been a board member of many key institutions in the country, which include the Research Council of Zimbabwe, the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe, where he was the vice chairman, the Forestry Commission, where he was chairman of the commission board, the Mineral Marketing Corporation of Zimbabwe, the Mining Promotion Corporation of Zimbabwe, and of course, the University of Zimbabwe Council, where he served in many various capacities. Our guest of honor is known today more about the way he has championed Education 5.0. Under the leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, our Honorable Minister was given the mandate and the responsibility to transform and reconfigure Zimbabwe's education from the traditional education that we are all used to Education 5.0, an education that has a very strong emphasis on innovation, entrepreneurship, and industrial development. And indeed, he has distinguished himself by being able to make that transformation happen in only less than 4 years. Our education will never be the same again. It has truly changed. He has changed our ministry from being simply a consumptive ministry to a ministry that produces goods and services and supports national development. I'm sure you're all aware of the many achievements that the ministry has made, starting from the time of COVID, where the work of our universities and colleges like Bulawayo Poly here managed to support and help the nation be able to save foreign currency that would have been spent on importing things that we could make ourselves. You are also aware that the ministry, through the leadership of our own distinguished guest of honor, was recently able to produce medical oxygen, liquid nitrogen, and industrial acetylene, which are critically needed gases for our hospitals and for our industries. And also recently, our guest of honor championed the beginning of the National Medical Pathology and Diagnostic Center at Midland State University, a center that will provide services that our people have been going to South Africa and abroad to receive for medical attention. These are just a few of the many accomplishments of our guest of honor, and we are truly proud that we have a minister who is an academic, who is an administrator, but also a man who is a visionary. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me at this time to invite our guest of honor to come to the podium and address the graduates and the parents. Thank you. We can have our seats. Thank you. I'm not sure whether I'm all that the professor was saying. However, I'm humbled to be here to join our students in their moment of celebration after years of hard work. The Director of Ceremonies, Acting Vice Principal, Mr. Rusike, Acting Principal, Mrs. Masanganise, our Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, Honorable Chukwuemeka, and the Permanent Secretary, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Matabele North, in absentia, Honorable Richard Moyo, our own Permanent Secretary, Professor Tagwira, Tertiary Education Council Councillors, that include Mr. Zeten Nyati and Dr. Gumbo. At this moment, may I say all protocols observed, and good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to start humbly by saying that we are a young nation. And a young nation always has to remind itself that it's a young, independent nation. And there are certain things that we have to know. One of the most basic things is that it's our nation, it's our country, its land, its resources, which can only be developed by its people, but using their knowledge and using their skills. There is no abracadabra. That is the only way. It therefore means a nation needs to be owned. When you own something, you will protect it. And you protect it using knowledge and skills. And talking about protection and the protection strategy of a nation and its people, it means they must eat well. It means they must have healthy lifestyles. It means they must be able to be given shelter to sleep in, live in. It means they must be able to have innovation, because you can't eat using the same vegetables every day. Basically what we say, we need things to change every time. That's why we have art and design. So things have to be nice. And all this comes from what we learn. And our education must be able to provide these things. And I just want to talk about a little bit about the so-called strategies of developing a country. And talk about a very simple thing in a very humble way. You know, there's the strategy of a thief and the strategy of the owner of a country. The strategy of a thief or a looter is this way. They say this is what we'll do in the short term, this is what we'll do in the medium term, this is what we'll do in the long term. You see, this is a strategy of a looter, because in the short term, the medium term, the long term, it means they will go away. This cannot be the strategy of the owners of the country. The strategies of the owners of the country is that we permanently make a strategy to make our lives good. There is no short term, there is no long term, there is no medium term. There is permanent term. It means we have to live well, we have to eat well, we have to be healthy. We plan for our country permanently, because we are going nowhere. People who are going somewhere are the ones who can do short term, medium term, long term. We are here. We are not stuck. We are happy to be here. And we shall work to be here. We shall make this country nice. How do we make it nice? Through knowledge and skills.
It therefore means that we have to look at the means by which we train ourselves. Whether when we train ourselves, we are training ourselves properly in order to have a permanent strategy for our country. A permanent, not a short term, because we are not going nowhere. Not medium term, because we are not going nowhere. Not long term, because we cannot have the strategy of a looter when we are actually the people and the owners of the same country. I hope I make myself clear. Therefore, we have to tell ourselves whether you have the strategy of a looter or we have the strategy of a permanent owner of a country. People who taught us long term, short term, medium term were the colonizers. They wanted to go. But as we are going nowhere, so we cannot have short term, long term. We want to do things, garaging. The purpose of education is to give dignity to a people, as it trains them to produce their own food, to construct their own shelter, to provide their own water, to provide innovation. For years in Africa, we have had the tragedy of reading the wrong manual. You technical people, you know what I mean, you graduates. You know that when you are reading the manual of a Nokia, and you are trying to use the Nokia manual to solve a Samsung problem, you will sweat. You work very hard, but the results are always negative. So we don't want the tragedy of reading the wrong manual. The right manual is, this is our country, we are the people who will develop it using our knowledge and skills. And our education is to be correct in order for us to be able to meet that objective. So, why am I saying all this? It's because we have to know why we now moved to Education 5.0. Why heritage? Because heritage, this is our country, we are the people. Why Education 5.0? Because it's us who have to industrialize and modernize this country. We cannot be trained to work for other people. We want to work for ourselves as a country and be able to industrialize it. If they are cooperating people, it's nice. But you know they are cooperating, but the responsibility is with us. So, the progress and the dignity of these people in this country depends on how our educated people are behaving, on how our educated people are having knowledge and skills, and how much they have it. We have to realize it. So, why are we moving from Education 3.0 to Education 5.0? Education 3.0 was meant to train people to go and work in someone's factory. Education 5.0 is meant in the Second Republic to have people be empowered to create their own industries and be supported when they are doing that. It's very important. It's like, I want to, just for a moment, tell you the wisdom of the Dakota Indians in America. When you have a country which is very high literacy rate, but industry is going down, then it means that education that we are receiving might not be correctly configured. It's just configuration. It's the system itself which has to be changed. So when things don't work, change them. This is what the Dakota Indians say. I quote, "When you discover that you are riding a dead horse, the best strategy is to dismount. Uruka. Arifambi." But what has been the tragedy? The tragedy is that in modern education, a whole range of strategies have been proffered on how to ride a dead horse. Number one, some people say, buy a stronger whip. and beat it, it will move. Number two, some said change the riders. They've employed consultants in order to do this. Number three, threatening the horse with determination to say, hey, I will kill you. He's already dead. Number four, appoint a committee to study the horse. Number five, arrange a visit to other countries to see how others ride dead horses. Number six, lowering the standards so that the dead horse can be included. Number seven, reclassifying the dead horse as a living but impaired horse. Number eight, hiring outside contractors to ride the dead horse for you. Number nine, harnessing several dead horses together to increase the speed. Gawande. Number 10, providing additional funding and or training to increase the dead horse's performance. No, it needs training. This horse needs training, but it's dead. So we are being given by consultants all these alternatives of how to ride the dead horse, whereas the best strategy is just to dismount. Zika, Sia, leave it. Number 11, doing a productivity study to see if lighter riders could improve the dead horse performance. You are too heavy, Muruya. Maybe you put a lighter one so that it can. 12, declaring that the dead horse does not have to be fed. It is less costly. They say, let's just maintain this dead horse. You know, it doesn't eat any food. So it's better to have the dead horse. 13, rewriting the expected performance requirements for dead horses. Says, no, let's rewrite the manual. And finally, promoting the dead horse to a supervisory position or hiring another horse. So you see, no matter what we do to Education 3.0, it was designed to create an employment-seeking person. So don't look for consultants to try and see how Education 3.0 can work. It doesn't work. It's a colonial design. It was meant for people to read and write and work in the factories of those who had factories, but not for people to start to design and own factories, like what is beginning to happen at Bulawayo Polytechnic. I hope I make myself clear. When you discover that you are riding a dead horse, the best strategy is to dismount. Close quote. Ladies and gentlemen, our target is to modernize and industrialize our nation, using our human capital, you people, us. Human capital, when well designed, gives a nation capability that enables the achievement of a vision. His Excellency the President of the Republic, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, enunciated Vision 2030, where we want to become an upper middle income economy. And our secret is very clear. Our secret is our people. Our secret is our education. Our secret is our knowledge. Our secret is our innovation. There is no other secret. A nation is developed by its own people. Our task in higher education is to develop how this is going to happen by developing appropriate, well-thought national capabilities. What can you do? Always say, it's not about knowing. People know. A lot of people know. Albert Einstein said, any fool can know. But the issue is to understand and be able to do things. That's where the issue is. Kugona, kuita, nekuziva. So national capabilities are, if Zimbabwe needs food, we have to develop capabilities for having that food on the table. Because apparently all of us are food. Who is not food here? Everybody is food, water, and the sun. Originally, we are being produced from the sun. So we are food. If you didn't know, or you didn't realize, we are just food. Nothing else. Food with a soul. So we need capabilities to make sure that we produce enough food. So if you have a college which does not work towards the production of food, either bring food technology or the agriculture or the mechanical engineering or the automotive engineering to produce food, I don't know what else you are doing. But here at Bulawayo Poly, we are doing those things. But you must know that we are doing those things in order to produce food. That's the most important thing. We put on our clothes in order to protect this food. Us. So if your education, you cannot tell how it contributes to people having food, how it contributes to people having shelter, how it contributes to people having dignity overall, then that education must be thrown away. And we start another education. Because we can only do things that we are properly trained in. If you are properly trained in crying, you will cry very well. But if you are trained in producing, you also produce very well. So we must be able to say, what are we training our people to do? So human capital design and configuration is the most important thing. We are gathered here today to celebrate our success in human capital development for the industrialization and modernization of our country through Bulawayo Polytechnic graduation prize giving ceremony with the theme promoting excellent human capital development through education 5.0 for sustainable socio-economic stabilization, recovery and development. The Second Republic saw that we could not transform our country based on our colonial education design 3.0. To this end, heritage-based education 5.0 is our means to achieve sustainable socio-economic stabilization, recovery and development. One thing that I just want to say is that, which is very important, and I guess for your graduates, I think it's very important. There is no country that develops using resources that are not in that country. It's not possible. You'll always be emptying your pockets. You cannot build your house using soils from elsewhere. It will be so expensive, that house. Not only expensive, you will live outside. This country has the densest mineral resources in the world. This country has got the best climate in the world. This country has the best soils in the world. This country has the best brains in the world. The only problem is that those brains were not being used to develop their own country. They were being told to expect something else which is not there. Our job now is to tell you that your destiny is here, the job is here, look here, don't look far. Because people were made to look far. They talk about other countries when they are sitting in their own country. Country X and country Y starts fighting, and then people start to say, we will not have food because country X and country Y are growing on food. This is the education that we are looking forward to, whereby we say, oh, they are fighting. Okay. Then you eat. Say, okay, who is fighting? Okay. So this year we are going to have a record wheat production. You can never use an old map to explore a new world. It's not possible. People, when we are here, you and me, we are enough. We are okay. It's about attitude. When you realize that the cabbage grows in a soil, when you water it, and when there is sun, grow your cabbage, please. The task of education is to industrialize and modernize a country. And it's only possible if our higher and tertiary education institutions begin to produce startup companies. And I'm going to tell you today that we are saying to Bulawayo Poly, all these graduates, in the budget of 2022-2023, because for the past 4 years, we were occupied with legal reform for our polytechnics to attain their autonomous operations, which we have achieved this year through the signing into law of the Manpower Planning and Development Act by His Excellency. When it was signed, it means Bulawayo Poly, in terms of administration, is administered the same way universities are administered. So we achieved this. After achieving this, now our job going forward is to make sure that we make them functional. What does it mean? When you graduate, you should not only graduate with a piece of paper. You must graduate. After you graduate, soon after that, you spend some time at college where we are training you how to form your own company. We will help you to form that company. We will fund that company as a group. And if you think I'm joking, think again. Form companies now. We have done it at universities. We have done it at the University of Zimbabwe. We've already registered about 35 companies which are owned by students. The only secret is that you have to give us a bit of 2% from your revenue so that we can train others. So that we can train others. What is 2% of 1 billion? Nothing. We have not determined which percentage, but surely we are saying we want to start a new private sector that we develop from our own people who know that they belong here, who don't have a short-term strategy or a medium-term strategy or a long-term strategy, people that have a permanent strategy, that know that we are born here, we will live here, we will live nicely when we have worked for ourselves, and then we will die with dignity. We are guided by design thinking, which says, before we do anything, we say, what do our people want? Why are we learning what we are learning? Every time, you must ask yourself, I am saying Shakespeare did this, Shakespeare did this, Shakespeare did this. Is Shakespeare your uncle? Read it as a bedtime story. Don't take it too seriously. Just make your food, make your machines, do your poetry based on mediums, because Shakespeare is not our uncle. I am just saying figuratively, we have to re-examine what we are really studying. What is it for? If you can speak English in a very complicated way, so what? Why not Ndebele? Why not Tonga in a complicated way? Why not Kalanga? Language is a means of communication. Language is not being learned. Because otherwise everybody in England could be very learned because they can speak English. They speak English because they were taught by their mothers when they were growing up. So anything that you were taught by your mother growing up is not what we call the education. The education is what you are taught in order to be able to use your brain to produce things. So please don't confuse language with education. That's why polytechnics are a central core to our permanent strategy to give dignity to our people when we begin to be able to make things. Because when you make your own things, when it breaks, you don't have a committee to say, how do we do? Now this thing is broken. You just make another one. That's what is called capability. If your whole breaks, you make another whole. That's what nations with capabilities do. If you begin to borrow things from others, you are always afraid that if it breaks, what am I going to do? So, ladies and gentlemen, the story that I'm talking about here is a story of a nation on the move. A story of a nation that is serious about themselves. A story of a nation who know that we are, because we are. A story of a nation that begins to take itself seriously. The story of a nation that has pride in its young people. The story of a nation that knows that when we do things, we do them for others, and others will finish off. The story which is beyond the story of the life of a housefly that eats to die. Eat, reproduce, die. Here, we eat, we do things for others, we increase the longevity of our people and our nation. That's why we get educated. Bulawayo Polytechnic is very important to us as it is spreading. We are building an industrial training college in Binga, and it is Bulawayo Polytechnic who is doing that. And we are very proud that we are spreading our wings. Our aim is to make our people capable to produce their own food, capable to produce their own machines, capable to produce their own health equipment, capable to produce all things that they need. That is called human dignity. You cannot have dignity when you are begging every time. It's not possible. We are also happy that Bulawayo Polytechnic is involved in establishing the Plumtree Polytechnic College, which has already taken about 30 students. We are going to increase the number of students. We want our people to be capable. And I have told the principal that this time don't just advertise in the newspaper. Move from door to door, telling people, you go to school, you go to school, you go to school, you go to school. Why is it important to us? Because sometimes not everybody has a WhatsApp, not everybody can read a newspaper. If you want to reach out to those people that you think you need to help, go to their homes, go to places nearest to them and tell them, here you have a chance to become a builder, here you have a chance to become an architect, here you have a chance to become a plumber, here you have a chance to become a secretary, here you have a chance to do anything. It's because the people who read the Chronicle, who read the Herald, it's me and you. Some people don't see those things. So go to them and tell them, go to school. We are also happy that we gave Bulawayo Polytechnic the challenge to go and repair Gwabalanda Hostel at Hillside. And together with the Zimbabwe National Army, they did a fantastic job. Gwabalanda Hostel is now up and running. We are also happy that we are building a student service center at NUS, National University of Science and Technology, and Bulawayo Poly is responsible for doing the balustrade. It is the education that we are looking forward to. That one which is tangible. We don't eat big vocabulary. We don't eat that. We eat food. Call it with any name. As long as it's edible, it's good. What I'm trying to say is basically to try and remove this spirit which says, because now we can say the crawl theories of the wobbling of the x-axis and the eccentricity of the ecliptic. Hey, what? One way, it is time we redefine what education is. It is time we become practical. People in Russia don't speak English, they've got big machines. People in China don't speak English, they've got big machines. People in Japan don't speak English, they've got big machines. People in Spain, they don't speak English, they've got big machines. People in Germany, they don't speak English, they've got big machines. Why do you think that you need English in order to study physics? So it's time we begin to think about ourselves. Because it's not a problem to study physics in English. It's not a problem at all. It's actually very good to study English, also to study Russian, to study Arabic. It's fine. But as long as you know that Arabic is just like the Vele, it's okay. If you think that the Vele is subservient to Arabic, then you have a problem. It's just another language. Because if you are falling due to gravity and people, you can say anything, it's falling, whichever language you use. So it's important we become real in terms of what we want for our nation. I hope when you get out of this place, you carry the word which says, I will fix that car whether I speak English or not. We are ready to fund the first startups of Bulawayo Polytechnic as we starting with this cohort and other cohorts that have come before you. So, I just want to tell you, when we do our things and we do them patiently, I really applaud the lecturers and staff of polytechnics and teachers' colleges. We told them, we are going to reform the law in the next 4 years. Some were doubting, but most together we became very patient and we reformed the laws, and this is where we are today. That's why I can talk about startups now. That's why I can talk about colleges forming companies. That's why I can talk about colleges starting other colleges. Patience is very important. Patience is power. Patience is not the absence of action. Rather, it is timing. It waits on the right time to act for the right principles and the right way. Government continues to improve the legal framework, and we have changed the Manpower Planning and Development Act. We now have the Tertiary Education Council that has been established by Section 59A, which shall be responsible for the administration of tertiary education in Zimbabwe, just like university councils are responsible for administering universities. This has happened. It has happened in the Second Republic. It's because we are serious about what we want to do. Government has directed all higher and tertiary education institutions to implement a modular approach to education so that students can have time to intensively learn their subjects. Some people say, Bill Gates, you know, he didn't finish university, but he has Microsoft and so forth. Don't let people lie to you like that. Bill Gates, because of the modular system, he went to college to study things that he wanted to study. As soon as he finished those courses, instead of doing them for 4 years, because it's a module, he went first 6 months, next 6 months. After 2 years, it was enough for him to learn good programming, so he went into business. So he went to university to study things that he wanted to do. So don't let people lie to you, saying that stupidity can lead you to prosperity. It's not possible. Graduates, we congratulate you today and urge you to begin thinking of which startup companies you are going to form and how you are going to take this country and Africa by storm. Technology is making skills and knowledge the only sources of strategic, sustainable advantage in the 21st century. This century is for people who have knowledge, is for people who have skills. If you don't have knowledge and you don't have skills, you only fall and you eat the food that people with skill and knowledge will choose to give you. You will not choose which food you eat if you don't have knowledge and skills. All those people with knowledge and skills will tell you what to eat, how to sleep, where to sleep. Also remember, you know a boat Igwa, a boat is always safe in the harbor. But that's not the purpose of a boat. It is to go into the sea. You are very safe here in this harbor. You are safe because there are no storms in the harbor here. But you were not made to be here forever. You were made to go into the world and conquer it by storm. So, You were made for tough stuff. That's what you have to remember. You are now going to leave the harbor. You are going into the high seas where there are waves. And please conquer those waves. Finally, as we get our certificates and diplomas, remember, talent is God-given. So please be humble. Fame is many given. So please be grateful that we're given a chance to go to college. Conceit, manyao, is self-given. So please be careful. Even the greatest was once a beginner. Don't be afraid of taking the next step into the world. I'm sure, congratulations, Makorokoto, Siabo.
Sangat tinggi sama.